late.
My stomach, Mike. I need a ginger ale.
I want to make movies that like everybody can go see and enjoy.
Get a ginger ale and nothing else.
Are those dogs fresh?
Put them in yesterday.
Give me one.
I think the trick is, and this is for me in any movie that I write, and I've written and rewritten a bunch of action sequences in the course of my career, and to me, the trick is, it's two things. It's that every action sequence has to have 3 acts, right? It's almost like it's its own movie. And then the thing that's even more significant, I feel like, is, you know, we've all seen shitty movies where like the action scene starts and it's just this kind of de rigueur thing that like you could have put it anywhere in the movie. And in fact, in some movies they do that. To me, like an action scene only works if the character story is still happening and still informs those scenes, and still and like if you look at, I mean, I love the scene. It is over the top, but you look at the aerial sort of hijacking and rescue in Bad Boys. That's a big giant scene. There's a ton of great character stuff that's happening in that scene, right? That these guys are coming together to rescue Armando, and like, and you see Armando's vulnerability, and like, and Will being there for him, you know, Mike being there for him as a father. Like you see that, like you see Marcus do something like almost superhuman, just like about the will to try to save this kid. And it's out of love for Mike that he's doing it. And the fact that all that stuff is happening, all that character stuff is coursing through that scene is what makes it work, right? It's what keeps it from being just horseshit spectacle. And then, you know, Beverly Hills Cop is very different. Beverly Hills Cop is, yeah, there's some like over the top stuff that happened, but like Mark Malloy, who directed it, like when he came on, like right away, I had some bigger, like kind of more Bad Boys, like things in that would have fit more in a movie like that. And he was like, no, the snowmobiles go like this. Like he was like, because this is going to be CG stuff, and I want everything in this movie to happen in camera. Yeah, right. Yeah. And which was 100% the right call. He you know, he shot the movie and delivered a movie that could have come out when the first movie's made. There isn't a bunch of CG stuff that, like, I think in a movie like Beverly Hills Cop, people would have rejected. So like all the stuff with like the snowplow and the helicopter and all that, like, right, that's much more grounded because it's real, it's happening. Right, they're flying that thing over Beverly Hills.
Are y'all stealing our clothes?
Just because we black, we stealing your shit?
What?
Look at your shirt.
Why don't you sing us a little Reba song?
Reba.
Sing your favorite.
I'm a woman.
So I'm a strong black woman.
Strong. Yeah, because she's not black.
Yes.
What you gonna do? What you gonna...
That ain't no Reba song.
It's from her mixtape.
There's stuff that the audience demands of a Beverly Hills Cop movie. You have to have it. And then, so how do you fulfill those expectations and then find ways to subvert them? And I think some of that comes from putting Axel in situations that you've never found him in before, right? And they're two of the new characters around. I mean, Rosewood and Taggart are big in the movie for sure, but two of the characters that are like principal characters, two of the other characters, principal characters, are ones you've never met before. Axel's got a strained relationship with his daughter. That's a giant thing. That's a giant. That's the emotional center of this story in the way that Tandino was in the first movie. So that exercises him in a new way. And then the other thing is Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character he's not a Rosewood or Taggart. He's a very different kind of cop. And Axel's, and a lot of that tension is generational, right? Which is something that you couldn't have done. You couldn't have done that with a younger version of Axel. I love the movie The Long Goodbye, right? The Robert Altman, Philip Marlowe movie with Elliot Gould. It's from the 70s, right? And in The Long Goodbye, Marlowe wakes up as though from a hangover, right? And he's still in his tuxedo, and like to find himself in modern day Los Angeles. It's a subtle thing, but he's a time traveler in that movie, right? He's the only thing that's period in that movie. He's sort of Rip Van Winkle. And there's a little bit of that in the opening of this movie, right? He drives out of the tunnel in the opening of the movie, and he's still in his old car, and he's still Axel Foley. So, you know, the fish out of water part of it, I think, is there's a little bit of like an analog cop in a digital world, right? Coming to Beverly Hills. Do you remember in the John Carpenter movie Starman? Do you remember when he says, Jeff Bridges says, do you know what I like best about you? He's talking about human beings, but he says that you're at your very best when things are worst.